So today, discuss na natin ang investment in equity instruments. So, yung previous discussion natin under Chapter 15, yung financial asset at fair value is introductory din dito sa ating equity investment. So, di ba meron tayong two types ng investment, meron tayong equity and debt security. So, ngayon, itong equity investment, so ito yung part ng ating Chapter 16. Okay, so ang pagbili ng equity instrument is pwedeng by exchange or lump sum acquisition, or pwede rin siyang yung normal na through cash mo siya binili. Pero in case na by exchange, like bumili tayo ng shares, ang equity instrument is yung mga shares. Ito yung diba sabi natin na yung shareholder tayo and bumibili tayo ng equity sa isang company. So pag by exchange, like let's say, ang pinambili natin is certain asset like, kunyari meron tayong pinalit like machine or something na non-current asset, pwede nating exchange yun. So, ang order of priority natin pag dinadetermine natin yung acquisition cost is first is yung fair value of asset given. Or ito, pwede nga itong cash, fair value ng cash or nung kahit anong asset na binigay mo. Next is fair value of asset received, yung value ng shares. Next is carrying amount of asset given. Next, pwede rin magkaroon ng mga lump sum acquisition. So ito, kunyari bumili tayo ng maraming securities at a single cost. So pag ganun daw, i-distribute natin or i-allocate natin based on the fair value ng ating mga shares. So, ang investment in equity securities are accounted for as one of the following categories. So, meron tayong equity instrument na through profit or loss, meron through OCI, which is ito yung discuss natin sa Chapter 15. Investment in associate will be discussed sa later chapters, and investment in subsidiary is part of advanced accounting. So, itong investment in unquoted equity instruments will be covered also dito sa ating Chapter 16. So, ito yung mga pwedeng maging categories ng isang investment in equity instrument. Okay. So, yung ating equity instrument shall be measured at fair value, pero exception to the rule si unquoted equity instrument. Kasi nga unquoted siya, kumbaga wala siyang fair market value. So, in case na walang fair market value, ang equity instrument na unquoted can be measured at cost if the fair value cannot be measured reliably. Okay. So, sa equity, isa sa topics na dinidiscuss is yung dividends. Kasi kapag meron kang holding sa isang company, is pwede kang mag-earn doon through capital appreciation or through dividends. Yung parang pwedeng, kunyari, yung shares mo doon is dati 100, tapos naging 150. So, nag-gain ka doon. So, yun yung, di ba, nag-record tayo ng unrealized gain or loss, ganun. Tapos, pag binenta mo, realized na. Pero, habang doon sa gitna nung pagbili mo doon, pwede ka rin mag-earn ng dividends. Okay, so, sabi natin, di ba, kunyari, meron tayong 100 shares ni a company. Pwede tayong kumita dyan in two ways. First is, kunyari, binili mo to at 50 pesos. So, ito, binili mo siya ng, kunyari, December 2020. Then, let's say, nag-appreciate na siya. So, January 2021. So, next month, kasi ang equity instrument is gumagalaw-galaw yung value niya. So, nag-change. So, from 50, kunyari, naging 55 pesos, nagkakaroon tayo ng unrealized gain or loss. So, ito, depende na kung fair value profit or loss, fair value OCI na discuss natin, di ba? Kung sa OCI o sa PNL siya pumapasok. The next dinidiscuss ko ngayon is dividends. Kasi bukod sa ganito, pwedeng mag-issue yung company ng dividends. So, si A company, let's say, on January 2021, hindi lang ito yung pwede mo i-gain. Pwede mo i-gain yung dividends kasi pwede siyang mag-issue ng dividend sa inyo. So, yun yung i-cover natin sa discussion natin. So, a dividend is a distribution of profits by a corporation to its shareholders. When a corporation earns a profit or surplus, it is able to pay a proportion of the profit as a dividend to shareholders. So, kunyari, kumita sila and nag-decide sila na mag-share sa mga shareholders nila. So, it is through a form of dividend declaration. So, ito, hindi to required gawin ng mga corporation, hindi nila required mag-issue. Pero, syempre, kung ikaw yung shareholder, mas attractive sa'yo na yung isang corporation is nag-i-issue ng dividend. So, para kumita ka. At saka sa kanila, it is a way of sharing din yung income nila. So, may iba't ibang types ng dividends. Meron tayong cash dividends, property dividends, liquidating dividends, and share dividends. Okay. So, under cash dividends, ito yung inisyuhan kanya ng dividends in a form of cash. Let's say, may sabi natin kanina, meron tayong 100 shares. So, si 100 shares, okay, sa cash dividend tayo. So, 100 shares, sa, kunyari si company A, nag-issue siya ng, bibigyan kanya ng 5 pesos each sa bawat share mo. So, 100 shares times 5 equals 500. So, meron ka ngayong 500 pesos na income. So, magkakaroon ka ng debit cash yung na-receive mo and credit dividend income na 500. Tapos, itong property liquidating and share, discuss din natin in detail sa mga example nila. Okay, so before natin i-detail yung mga dividends, kailangan din muna natin ma-understand ano yung iba't ibang dates kapag nagde-declare ng dividend. So dito meron tayong date of declaration, date of record, and date of payment. Yung date of declaration, ito yung date kung kailan dineclare ng board of directors ng company yung dividend. So let's say today, dineclare niya na magbibigay kami ng dividends on a later date. So, today is the date of declaration. Ito rin yung day kung kailan natin recognize yung ating receivable and revenue ng dividend. Kasi, ito, meron na tayong right kasi dineclare na nila. Okay, so next is date of record. Ito yung date on which the stock and transfer book of the corporation is closed for registration. So, ito yung last day kung saan lahat ng shareholders as of this date will be entitled to the dividend. So, all shareholders as of date of record have right to claim dividend. So, ito yung importante part sa date of record. Kasi, kung shareholder ka ng date of record, mayroon kang dividend. Pero kung wala, hindi ka magiging entitled sa dividend. Date of payment is the date on which the dividends declared shall be paid. Ito na yung actual disbursement ng company sa'yo. Okay. So, yung date of declaration up to date of record, ang tawag doon is dividend on. Kasi, yung shares na hawak mo is meron kang right na tinatawag kaya dividend on. Ex-dividend is wala ka ng right kapag between date of record up to date of payment. So, mag-sample ulit tayo. So, let's say, nag-declare siya, date of declaration today, 06/09/2021. Tapos, sabi niya, ang date of record niya is sa 12. June 12. Pero, babayaran niya yan sa June 15. Okay. So, kung ikaw shareholder ka, tapos hawak mo na siya nung matagal na. Let's say, 2020 pa hawak mo na. Tapos, ang date of record, June 12. So, ito yung importanteng date. So, dapat hawak mo pa siya hanggang June 12 para maging entitled ka. So, let's say, June 9, nag-declare sila today. Tapos, June 10, June 10, binenta mo siya. So, nung binenta mo siya dito, kahit nag-declare na siya dito, is hindi ka pa rin magiging entitled sa dividend. Kasi, ang entitled is yung mga may hawak as of date of record. Ito yung listahan nila na, ito yung cut-off nila kumbaga na, kayo lang yung makakatanggap. So, let's say, June 12, nasa iyo nga. Next example to So, June 12, nasa iyo nga. Tapos, binenta mo ng June 13. So, hindi pa nababayaran, pero binenta mo na. May right ka ba dun sa dividend? So, ang sagot is yes, kasi as of date of record, nalista ka na ni corporation as stockholder na entitled sa dividend. Kaya, sa June 15, sa'yo pa rin ibibigay yung dividend, regardless kung hindi ka na shareholder as of that moment. Ang pinakamahalaga is shareholder ka as of date of record. Okay. So, ito yung isang sample ng formal dividend declaration. The Board of Directors at their meeting on November 15 declared an annual dividend on ordinary share of 5 pesos payable on January 31, 2021 to shareholders at the close of business on January 15. So ngayon, dito mo i-identify alin ba dito yung date of declaration, date of record, and date of payment. Okay, so dito, ang date of declaration is November 15, nung dineclare nila. Yung January 31, yung date of payment is January 31. Tapos, ang date of record is January 15. Okay, so may bonus tayo. Ito is actual dividend declaration ni JFC or Jollibee Food Corporation. So, in-announce niya sa Board of Directors noong April 8, 2021 na may cash dividend na 0.78 per share of common stock for all shareholders of record as of April 26, 2021. Ex-dividend date of April 21, 2021. The amount is 25.8 higher than the 0.62 cash dividend per share declared on April 7, 2020. Payment date is on May 12, 2021. So now, identify ano yung date of declaration, date of record, and date of payment. And add na rin natin, and how much yung magiging cash dividend mo as if meron kang shares na 1,000. So, first na mag-chat neto sa group chat is magkakaroon ng +2 sa activities. Sa group chat niya na i-chat. Okay, so next. Sample pa tayo ng cash dividend. So, sabi natin, ang cash dividend is treated as income and does not affect investment account. So, kunyari, a shareholder owns 2,000 shares costing 200,000. Subsequently, the shareholder receives notice of dividend declaration of 10 per share or 20,000. Prior to record date, the shareholder sells the investment for 200,000, which includes the dividends. The journal entry to record the sale is debit cash of 200,000, credit investment in shares, credit dividend income, and credit gain on sale. So dito, sinasabi dito na kapag binenta mo yung shares and dividend on yun or meron kasamang dividend yun, kailangan mo i-recognize yung dividend income and yung gain on sale mo is yung natira lang ng investment in shares and yung dun sa na-receive mo. So, dito, so meron tayong cash daw na na-receive ng binenta niya, 260,000. Pero yung value ng investment niya is amounting to 200,000 lang. And i-recognize mo yung dividend income since nasa iyo yung right ng dividend. Kumbaga, pag na-receive to, sa iyo yung income. Then, yung gain on sale mo is the remaining. So, take note, ito sabi, when shares are sold dividend on and the dividend accrued is specifically included in the sales price, the portion of sales price pertaining to accrued dividend should be credited to dividend income. Okay, so next type of dividend is property dividend. So ito is kapag binigay in kind, like in property or any non-cash asset. So consider din siya as income and recorded siya as at fair value. So pwede ring maging property dividend, di ba sabi any property or non-cash asset. Pwede siyang bigyan ka ng shares ng ibang company. So let's say shareholder ka ni A company, and ang dinistribute niya as dividend niya is shares ng ibang company, shares ni B company as property dividend. So, yung share daw ni B company ay may market value na 50 per share. So, a shareholder received 20 shares of B company as property dividend from A company. So, ngayon, ang basehan mo is yung 50 per share, yun yung binigay sa'yo, times 20. So, meron kang investment in B shares as dividend income. So, next example, pwede ring inventory ibigay sa'yo or any non-cash asset. So, a company declares a property dividend worth 200 per share. If a share owner owns 20 shares, the dividend would be, so hindi ko lang nabanggit pero inventory yung binigay. So, merchandise inventory of 20 times 200, 4,000. So, may dividend income ka na 4,000. Okay, so next item is liquidating dividend. So this time, hindi siya treated as income. So, ang recording mo is return of investment. Kaya ang kinikredit niya is investment in shares. As if binalik na yung investment mo lang, yung capital mo. Kasi itong liquidating dividend, normally ito yung binabayaran kapag dissolved na. Kunyari, na-dissolve yung company or corporation na investan mo, so liquidating dividend na yung tawag doon sa pagbalik lang sa'yo ng pera. However, meron ding certain case for wasting asset corporation or mining entity wherein pwede silang magbigay ng liquidating dividend kahit hindi pa naman sila dissolve. So pag ganun, yung dividends are designated as partly income and partly return of capital. Next item is share dividends. So ito, share dividends is dividends naman in a form of the issuing entity's own shares. So kung sabi natin, kunyari, shareholder ka na A company, yung bibigay niya sa'yo is share din no A company mismo. So hindi siya share na iba. Yun yung pinagkaiba niya kay property dividend. So ito, hindi siya considered as income kasi technically parang wala ka ring na-receive eh. Sasabihin niya na bibigyan ka niya ng shares niya. Ang kaso, technically hindi naman magbabago yung equity na hawak mo kasi anong nangyari, meron kang additional shares but proportionate equity interest lang pa rin yung hawak mo sa kanya. More shares but at reduced market value. So, para mas ma-discuss, ganito, i-explain ko na. So, kunyari dati shareholder ka niya ng 1,000 shares, binili mo yan ng 100,000. Tapos ngayon, sabi niya, magbibigay siya ng libre na dividends niya na 500 shares. So ngayon, yung shares mo, total 1,500. So medyo masaya ka kasi meron ka ng 1,500 shares. Ang kaso, yung total value nun is 100,000 pa rin. So, anong nangyari? Lumiit lang yung market value ng per share kasi 100,000 divided by 1,500. Instead sa 100,000 divided by 1,000. So, lumiit yung per share, dumami shares, pero lumiit lang din yung market value per share. Pero yung total market value will remain the same. So, hindi siya treated as income and ang recording lang sa kanya is through memorandum entry kapag same class. So, same class, it means kunyari, common shares ka dati, tapos binigyan ka niya din ng common shares. So, technically, wala talaga nangyari sa'yo doon. So, memo entry lang. Pero kapag different, let's say preference shares yung binigay, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng ipoproportion mo yung total dun sa common and preferred shares. Tapos kung merong nalipat, so ililipat mo sa preference shares and mabawasan yung ordinary shares. Okay, so nasabi na natin kanina, ang cash dividends ay income, ang property dividends ay income. Ang liquidating dividend is not income since it is a return of capital. Then share dividends is not an income since walang impact siya sa asset mo. So ngayon, meron tayong tinatawag na shares received in lieu of cash dividends. So ito, instead bigyan kanya ng cash dividends, binigyan kanya ng shares. So technically, binigyan kanya ng shares dividend. Pero ang sabi dito sa ating PFRS, ang treatment natin dito is income at fair value of shares received. Kasi ang treatment daw doon is parang property dividends. If no fair value, income is equal to cash dividends that would have been received. So, ang nangyari is kung magkano yung value ng share is i-recognize mo yan as income mo. Then, kapag walang sinabing fair value, i-recognize mo kung magkano yung as if dapat mong cash na na-receive. Okay, so next, meron din namang cash yung binigay sa'yo instead na share dividend. So, technically, ang na-receive mo is cash. Ang assumption or as if approach na ginagawa is as if yung share dividends na na-receive mo is binenta mo. So, naging cash na siya. Therefore, meron tayong gain or loss kasi parang may sell na nagaganap. Okay, so may tinatawag ding BIR approach wherein sa kanya lahat is income. Yun lang naman sinasabi nun. Pero sa accounting is nagamit natin tong income si shares received and si cash received is as if approach. Okay, so tapos na tayo dun sa types ng dividend. So, ito is isang concept pa sa ating equity instrument. Pwede rin magkaroon ng share split wherein ito kapag rin-restructure ng company yung capital niya by effecting a change in the number of shares without capitalizing retained earnings or changing the amount of its legal capital. So, kapag nagkaroon ng share split, sa part mo, ang gagawin mo is memorandum entry lang. Kasi ang nangyari lang, pinapataas or pinapababa lang yung shares without change naman. So, para lang din siyang share dividend. So, memo entry lang din. So, may two types ng share split. Meron tayong split up and split down. Pag split up, ito yung pinapataas yung, ang nangyari is yung outstanding shares mo are tinatawag or called in and replaced by a larger number accompanied by a reduction in the par or stated value of each share. So, kunyari, dati, meron kang hawak na 10,000 shares. Sasabihin niya na split up. So, papadamihin ko, gagawin kong 5 for 1. So, magiging 50,000. So, yung dati mong 10,000 shares, naging 50,000 shares na. Pero tulad ng diniscuss ko kanina sa share dividends, hindi man igagalaw yung market value or yung total cost ng shares mo. Kung magkano mo binili yan, yung pa rin yung value ng 50,000 shares. Naging reduced lang yung stated value of each share. Pag split down naman, kabaliktaran naman. Yung 10,000 shares mo, sabi niya, kunyari 2 for 1 to. Sa 1 for 2. So, ano nangyari? Split down, bababa. May dating 10,000 mo, hindi, sorry, 5 for 1 talaga. 10,000 mo, magiging 2,000 shares na lang. So, bumaba yung shares mo. So, nag-worry ka. Pero, technically, wala namang nagbago. Ang nangyari is, tumaas pa yung stated value ng each share. Pero, total is, wala pa rin nagbabago. Okay, next concept is special assessment. So, sa mga corporation, pwede silang mag-require ng additional capital contribution and kapag nagbigay ka, magkakaroon ka ng additional cost of investment. Yun yung treatment mo dun. So, let's say meron kang 10,000 shares costing 500,000. Then subsequently, the directors pass a resolution to the effect that the shareholder should contribute 5 for each share held to the corporation. So, sa part ni shareholder, ang payment niya nun is credit cash and debit investment and share as if magkaroon ka ng additional cost of investment. Next is redemption of shares. So, yung mga preferred shares kasi merong concept ng redemption wherein pwede kang i-call in ulit or parang bawiin yung preferred shares mo. And ang treatment doon is para ka lang din nagbenta. So, parang sale of share lang din siya. So, example, if a shareholder acquires 10,000 preferred shares for 100 per share, yung initial entry niya is investment and cash. Then, if subsequently, kinall in or nagkaroon ng redemption of share at 110 per share, so para ka lang din magtitreat ng sale, which is wherein magkakaroon ka ng gain on investment na 100,000 since mas mataas yung per share nung nagkaroon ng redemption of shares. Okay, so last concept is yung share right. Ang share right is called as preemptive stock or stock right or right issue. Ito yung magkakaroon ka ng legal right para bumili ng new shares nila at a specific price for a definite time period. So, ownership of share rights is evidenced by share warrants. So, meron tayong two treatments. Meron tayong accounted for separately and not accounted for separately. So, itong issue na to is hindi pa siya nasisettle kung alin yung approach yung gagamitin. Pero, sabi sa book ay si authors is naniniwala na it should not be accounted for separately. Okay, so, or dapat magkasama siya. So, sabi dito, pag accounted for separately, ibig sabihin is, kunyari, meron kang 1,000 shares, then binigyan kanya ng share rights na 1,000. So, ang mangyayari is, separate yung treatment. So, yung share rights is i-record mo and classify as current asset. Pero pag not accounted for separately, tinitreat natin na yung 1,000 shares mo is kasama na niya yung share rights. So, hindi niya nire-record separately yung share rights. So, eto, mas maganda siyang i-discuss sa mga example. So, doon ko na lang siya i-elaborate sa example. Okay. So, ngayon, let's try problem 16-3 wherein dito madidiscuss yung dividends and yung share split. Okay. So, si Effective Company had the following long-term investments at the beginning of the current year. So, may investment siya kay SMC na preference shares, 12%, 200 par, 5,000 shares for 1,200,000. Then, may investment din siya kay Benguet Ordinary Shares na 10,000 shares. So, during the year, ito yung mga transactions na kailangan daw natin i-journalize and magkaroon ng summary ng shares ni Effective Company. Okay, so first, bumili siya kay Ana na 4,000 shares. So, bago to. So, 4,000 shares for 300,000. Okay, so note natin dito, may 4,000 shares tayo kay Ana. So, debit investment in shares and credit cash. So, next, may na-receive naman tayong 2,000 ordinary shares of Benguet Company in lieu of a cash dividend of 10 per share. So, ano bang sabi natin kapag may nare-receive tayo ganito? So, para siyang property dividend. So, investment in shares, Benguet, 120,000. So, ito kay Benguet, nagkaroon pa tayo ng additional. So, meron na tayong 10,000 plus 2,000. Meron na tayong 12,000 shares kay Benguet. Then, next, yung amount na gagamitin dito is yung quoted market value na 60 pesos per share. Number 3 is may binili ka namang 6,000 na ordinary shares. So, bumili ka na naman kay Ana. So, 4,000 plus 6,000, meron ka ng 10,000 kay Ana shares. So, nung binili mo yon 420,000 for 6,000 shares. So, number 4 is may na-receive kang semi-annual dividend kay SMC. So, ito, dahil preferred shares siya, so 200 yung par value times 12% yung ownership times 5,000 yung shares mo times 0.5 dahil annual dividend. So, meron kang debit cash na 60,000 and credit dividend income of 60,000. Number 5. Ang sabi naman is magkakaroon ng share split for 2-4-1. So, ibig sabihin, yung dati mong dalawang share is magiging isa na lang. So, yung total shares kasi natin kay Ana is meron tayong 10,000. So, ngayon, 2-4-1. So, yung isa mong share, papalitan ng dalawa. So, from 10,000, magiging 20,000. So, magkakaroon ka ng memorandum entry na receive 20,000 new shares as a result for 2-4-1 split of 10,000 original shares. So, number 6 is binenta mo ngayon yung 8,000 na shares mo at 85 less transaction cost of 5%. Use average approach. So, ito yung monitoring natin na meron tayong 10,000 shares na naging 20. So, ang average cost mo nun is 36 per share. Ito yung sabi ko na hindi naman gumalaw yung total pero nagbabago yung market value per share. So, 36 per share daw siya. So, pag binenta natin ngayon is ang investment mo sa kanya is 8,000 times 36. Tapos, ang cash na na-receive mo is 8,000 times 85 less 5% commission which is 646,000. So, may gain ka pa na 358,000. So, ngayon, sabi mag-summary down tayo ng portfolio. So, kay SMC, meron pa rin tayong 5,000. Hindi naman nagbago, nagka-dividend lang. meron tayong Benguet ordinary share na 12,000, which is 10 plus 2. Then Anna ordinary share, so ngayon from 10,000, ay from 20,000, tapos nabawasan ka ng 8,000 shares, meron ka na lang 12,000 shares at 432,000. So, yung 432,000 is 12,000 times yung 36. So, 432,000. So, that's all for 16-3. Next item, 16-7. So, dito, dividends and share rights naman yung na-discuss. Okay, so, dito, bumili daw siya ng 80,000 shares par 10 at 40 per share as long-term investment. So, pag ganun, ang recording natin is yung 40, yung market value. Investment, debit investment in shares and credit cash. Then next, may na-receive daw na share dividend. So, sabi natin, pag nakaka-receive tayo ng share dividend, is nagkakaroon lang tayo ng memorandum entry. So, yung shares mo na 80,000, naka-receive ka daw ng 20, which is 4 for every owned. So, 80,000 divided by 4, which is 20,000. So, meron ka na ngayong 100 shares for the 3,200,000 na bili mo. Number 3, may na-receive ka na cash dividend at 4 per share. So, total shares mo, 100,000 multiplied by 5 pesos each. So, debit cash and credit dividend income. Number 4, may na-receive ka na share rights to purchase 1 share at 30 for every 5 rights held. So, number 4, may share rights ka daw na yung 100,000 mo, merong right yun na 5 pesos na market value. So, 100,000 times 5 is 500,000. So, debit share right, credit investment in shares. Number 5, sold 40,000 rights at 7 each. So, pag binenta mo yun, first, kailangan mong kuhanin yung share right, 40,000 times 5 yung value nung bili mo doon or yung market value niya. Tapos, yung cash na 40,000 times 7. So, may gain on sale of rights ka na 80,000. Next is exercise the remaining rights. So, ngayon, nung in-exercise mo yun, first is kailangan mong i-credit yung remaining share right, then cash yung pinambili mo. Kumbaga, pag may share right kasi is bumibili, meron kang right to buy at 5 pesos. So, wait lang, sorry. Right to purchase at 30. So, meron kang right na bumili at 30 pesos. So, ngayon, 60,000, which is yung 100,000 less yung 40,000 na nabenta mo. So, 60,000 na lang shares mo. Divided by 5 kasi meron kang right to purchase for every 5 rights held multiplied by the cost nung bawat isa. So, 360,000. So, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng additional investment in shares na 660,000. So, ngayon, number 7 is kapag binenta mo daw yung 80,000 at 35 per share. So, debit cash, 80,000 times 35 then ngayon, i-credit mo yung investment in shares mo. Ngayon, kailangan natin makita yung investment in shares na portion ng 80,000. So, 80,000 divided by yung total shares mo na 100,000 multiplied by investment in shares. So, ang investment mo kasi is 3,2, tapos nabawasan siya ng 500 dito. So, meron ka na lang na 160 na investment in shares. So, the rest is gain mo na. 640,000 na gain. Okay, so last problem is 16-10. So dito, dividends and sale yung madidiscuss. So si Maxim Company acquired 40,000 ordinary shares on October 1 for 6,600,000 held for trading. So 40,000 at 6,600,000. On November 30, nagkaroon ng 10% ordinary share dividend at a market price of 250. Nung December 31 is binenta. So first is kailangan nating i-account. Magkano na ba yung shares? 40,000. Nagkaroon ng 10% na share dividend. So 4,000. So 44,000 na yung total shares niya pero same amount na 6,600,000. Then on December 31, binenta niya for 1 million. So debit cash 1 million. Then investment in shares natin is 150 each yung ating average cost. So 4,000 daw yung ibebenta times 150, so 600,000. So, ang tanong is, magkano ang gain on sale mo? Ang gain on sale mo is 400,000, letter B. So, that's all for investment in equity securities. So, dito, ang i-cover ko lang din naman is kung ano lang din yung mga na-discuss na yan, sa dividend, share rights sa ating final exam. Good luck sa final exam and hope na na-learn natin yung concepts ng equity instruments. Thank you.